Inside Sport on RNTC Sport.
Are football players what the money they earn? Has money changed the round leather game? Do they perform the money's worth? This is the topic of our discussion today in Inside Sports. And I have with me renowned international journalist Leon Seyange, George Luanja, and of course Hossam Saeed. But first, which footballer earns more than the rest?
Move over, Bex. There's a new leader in the Football Moneybags chart. Barcelona's Lionel Messi is the new highest paid player in the game. According to France Football magazine, the 22-year-old reportedly earns over 25 million quid a year in salary and endorsements. The Argentine international, who is currently in the US preparing for a friendly this weekend, made around 8 million in basic salary, 3 million in bonuses, and a whopping 15.5 million in sponsorship. Of course, Beckham, who topped the rich list for the past 2 years, shouldn't be too upset. The Englishman is still thought to have made over £24 million. Not bad indeed.
Now, Lionel Messi, 64 goals for his team, winner of the World Footballer of the Year twice in a row. Is he worth it, Hossam?
I see that they deserve the amount of money they got it. They play hard, they do a lot of efforts, so they're worth it.
Why do you say that?
Well, actually, there are some facts we need to know about football players. For example, they have to run 9 kilometers in 90 minutes. They are giving up 30 years of their life because of football. And also, they undergo training and dieting the whole week just to fit before they play football. Of course, we must not forget that they also give up their privacy, their life privacy. Footballers have many fans. They are following them, so they can't enjoy them.
Do the players deserve this amount of money? I do not think so. At one point, it is clubs that are forcing this amount of money on these particular players, just because they have the quality of football that they can bring to their club and make more money from these particular players. They think, yes, you can put a wage bill of £120,000 on a player. No, these things are throwing the clubs into the abyss of financial problems.
George, you think they deserve that?
Yes, they deserve it. And again, a caution should be there that we shouldn't do it more. What is a core fact here? The core fact is that we're talking of money, and wherever there's money, there are problems, of course. Now, if other players are earning much than the other players, then that brings in problems. So what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, players should earn as much as they can. Lionel Messi, one of the players that you mentioned, of course, yes, I agree, but we should also look at the passion that our players play for. Are they still playing for the passion of the love of the game? Are they playing for the passion of the money? So these are some of the issues that should be raised when we look at this issue.
Well, be a part of this program. Send us your comments, questions to insidesports2011@yahoo.com. Now we have this comment from Michelle Katami in Kenya. She says she wants to know who the world best paid footballer is, and also which league between the English Premier League, the Serie A, La Liga, and Bundesliga pays players more money. Any ideas?
Well, of course, we looked at Lionel Messi is one of the highest paid players, and if we talk of the leagues that pay more, we of course look at the Spanish La Liga, second is the English Premier League, and then we'll go to the Mexican League and then Italian Serie A.
That takes me also to this comment. Fons Peters sends us this. He said football players earn huge salaries, and this has not come to an end. Can this go on and on, or is the sport of football going to collapse?
That's exactly what I'm really looking at. Football has consecutive efforts, and then we look at also the teamwork, who is involved to convert a goal, and then we look at the players that deliver. So when you talk of delivering, you look at Lionel Messi. Yes, he's one of those highest players, and look at how much he has delivered.
So are you saying goals. That some of these players are not able
to
today?
What we encourage the other players to be stars at the end of the day is looking at who's the highest paid player. So that would definitely encourage the other players.
You are not going
so
to
what
encourage.
I'm saying is, let them be highly paid, but again, let's be conscious with the way we do it.
Somebody sends this one. It says, sports stars aren't the only ones to pull in enormous amount of money. What about investment bankers, CEOs of big companies? Politicians don't earn much in comparison, but many find other ways to compensate. It seems that greed is now a global problem. Sports stars' income are just a symptom of a more general disease, the worship of wealth.
Of course,
Do
it's
you think
it's totally ridiculous what the politicians do, what the bankers do, what the footballers themselves do. On top of their own salaries, footballers have endorsements. They have deals, sponsorship deals coming through from as many as 5 companies. And at the end of the day, you're having a player earning £31 million annually.
Okay. Yeah. What would that endorsement
do?
do?
What does he do on the
go
field?
Only to a player, but that endorsement goes to the club. So,
No.
meaning that the player makes money for the club, and at the end of the day, the player is paid what is supposed to be paid. And then, what I'm trying to really look at is, let them be played and let them earn as much as they can, but again, we really need to strike a balance.
Now, how about players who are performing up to expectation, but yet they don't get to be paid even half of what this player earns?
Well, if I can give answer for this, if player playing not as he used to play, so this player should have some penalty because of that. But otherwise, we have to keep in mind that players are only depend on this money they are getting paid. They don't have any pension after they stop playing. After 30 years, what they are going to do?
Now, it's still inside sports with me, Grace Adams. I have this comment from Terry Purvis. He said, clubs are struggling to make profit, yet wages bills are soaring. Can football afford to pay players the kind of money they are receiving? No, is the simple answer, he says. Can they afford the clubs?
Yes, they can.
How?
First, let's look at the clubs. How these clubs able to collect this money? They have many things: tickets, companies, advertisement, putting their slogans. So many things help these clubs to give money for players.
Yet most of these clubs are said to be in debt.
Of course, they might be, and I really don't want to agree with Perry, what he said, because clubs can manage. Look at how many people in the world, how many advertisers really want to be associated with Manchester United, for example. Look at how many people advertisers want to be associated with the other clubs, companies, and so on. Now, that association doesn't just go on empty plates. It goes with money. So they pump in lots of money. And then at the end of the day, those same teams, Manchester United should pay Rooney the money that he deserves, because he's a player, is delivering at the moment.
This will also take me to this comment from Peter Leroy. He says some of these leagues should introduce wage caps at clubs. While Manchester United pays 6-digit salary, West Bromwich Albion pay its best player £40,000. Of course, that does not encourage the competitiveness in the league.
I totally agree with what Leroy is saying. Create a benchmark for the salaries that players have to earn. If Manchester United players are supposed to earn £75,000, it should be it. If that is what the Premier League does, it should be it. If it's what the Spanish League does and says 50,000 is the cut for our top players, that is what it should be. It helps the clubs make more money, save more money, survive more, and better football.
So you want
the competitiveness, of course, is getting to my point. What I'm saying, football is about competitiveness, and it should be encouraged. Competition is really, really something that will bring in people. You know, you look at Lionel Messi, you would want to always one of the players would certainly want to be like him. Now, Leon is saying creating a benchmark. How do you create that benchmark?
It's
but
about
money-wise, what about that passion of football that used to be there?
That's why I'm saying that these things go by balance. You balance them. Let the players play with their passion, the love for football, and the love for their team. But again, let them earn as much as they are worth.
But it doesn't seem to be happening like that.
Well, actually, yes, and I disagree with Leon, because Leon he wants players to get less than they used to get paid. Maybe you have some friends with owner of clubs. actually, I believe that they're really getting what they deserve, because they just count on this money. Otherwise, the life will destroy it, totally destroy it.
Now to wrap up this discussion, are we all saying that these footballers live on past glory?
Well, I don't agree exactly with living in past glory. Is they just living normal life. They could be taking more money than the rest of us, but they're taking this money because they're worth it.
Yes and no. David Beckham is standing today, is not in active football, is still earning what he's supposed to earn, good standing. And then we look at, my point really will still stand that if the player is worth the money, let that money be spent on the player. But my caution again goes to the team managers, to everyone involved, that let's not overdo it, but let's also look at how we encourage the young players so that tomorrow, the other day, they can be like the David Beckhams.
It is this very young player that wants to earn £120,000 tomorrow that Wayne Rooney earns today. I'm of the view that leagues all over Europe, even in Africa, professional leagues should have wage caps for the players and in clubs so that they do not end up running into financial problems tomorrow. This, of course, is already a start for the downfall of football. I'll take the best example of Leeds United. They had their players paid well. They drove the best cars. They played in the Champions League. When everything turned around, where is Leeds today? It's playing in the Championship. It is about the money. How much do you give them? There should be a limit.
Well, that's it on Inside Sports today. There should be a limit for Leon Siyange. And for George, he's in between. For Hosam, he thinks it's very important that they get such amount of money. Join us again, same time tomorrow, 4 p.m. Dutch time. I am your host, Grace Adams.
Inside Sport on RNTC Sport.